Question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What did you want President Zelensky to do about Vice President Biden and his son Hunter?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, it was just a follow-up of what I just asked you, sir.
Listen, you ready? We have the president of Finland. Ask him a question.
I have one for him. I just wanted to follow up on the one that I asked you, which was,
Did you hear
what
me?
did you want
Did you
him
hear
to
me?
Yes,
Ask
sir.
him a question.
I will, but
I've given you a long answer. Ask this gentleman a question. Don't be rude. It's a whole hoax. And you know who's playing into the hoax? People like you and the fake news media, the corrupt media, because you're corrupt.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question?
Go ahead.
No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
since you are attacking
No,
our news
not you.
organization,
Not you.
can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you
is
give us a
terrible.
chance
Let's
to
go.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's
categorically,
asking a question. Don't
Mr.
be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No, I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Promising supporters that Mexico is going to pay for the
here
wall
we
and that
go
the
again.
wall was going to be made of concrete. You just said earlier that the wall could be made of steel.
Very nice question, so beautifully asked, even though I just answered it. If I build a steel wall rather than a concrete wall, it will actually be stronger than a concrete. Steel is stronger than concrete, okay? In case you could check it out. Why didn't you read my quote the way I said it?
Sir, I tried to pull it up and I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Well, then you got to get Wi-Fi, okay?
Well,
Don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter doing that. It's a disgrace and it's an embarrassment to our nation.
Do you believe your tweets and your words can be intimidating?
Yes, go ahead,
sir?
please.
Sir, do you believe your tweets
Quiet,
and words
quiet,
can be intimidating?
quiet.
Sir? Sir, do you believe
Please.
your tweets and words can be intimidating?
I don't think so at all. Tomorrow they will say, Donald Trump rants and raves at the press. I'm not ranting and raving. I'm just telling you, you're dishonest people. But I'm not ranting and raving. I love this. I'm having a good time doing it. But tomorrow the headlines are going to be, Donald Trump rants and raves.
Because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine...
Very fake news.
I
Go
know,
ahead.
but aren't you...
Go ahead.
Real news, Mr. President, real news. Aren't you concerned, sir, that you are undermining...
And by the way, they say, oh, is it true that somebody's, a congressman, he broke away? Okay. Yeah, every once in a while you're going to have that, but you know who else has that? The Democrats have that too, because they have their people breaking away too. You know why? Because they know you need border security, but you don't report that.
So why not sign the other bills, though, so some of these workers can get paid, the government
You
get
think
more...
I should do that?
No,
Do you think I should do that, John?
I mean, it's not for me to
I
say.
watch your one-sided reporting. Do you think I should do that? Hey, John. No, seriously, John, do you think I should just sign?
Well, the argument is...
Tell me.
Sign these bills that have nothing to do with
John,
border
do you
security.
think I should just sign?
I'm saying that if you sign that, these workers can start getting paid. The government can
So
start...
you would do that if you were in my position, you'd do that?
I'm not in your position. I'm asking you if that's something you...
I'm asking you, would you do that if you were in my position? Because if you would do that, you should never be in this position. Because you'd never get anything done. Goodbye, everybody. Last number of years. So we'll see how let that work its way through the courts. No. If you read it, you'll see it's beyond an opinion. That's not an opinion.
You said Obama was a quote-unquote stubborn dope, not for doing it. You said, just stop the flights, dummies. You also said it was a quote-unquote total joke.
Do you really believe that?
What do you... Well, let
Take
me
a
ask
look
you
at
this.
our federal prisons.
I believe in facts and statistics and
Okay,
data.
any more? Quick, let's go. Your question is a very political question because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news. You have an agenda. The numbers that you gave are wrong. Take a look at our federal prison population. See how many of them, percentage-wise, are illegal aliens. Just see. Go ahead and see. It's a fake question. Yes, go ahead.
There is not violence on the border, and that
There's
most
not violence on the
there's
border?
not as much violence
Oh, really?
as. Let me,
You had
wait a minute.
26 people
Let me finish the
killed.
question, please. Let me finish the question.
2 weeks
please.
ago, 26 people were killed in
I
a
understand
gunfight
what
on the
you're
border.
I understand what you're
a
saying.
mile away from where I went.
I was there. I understand. That's not the question. The question is.
Do we forget about that?
No, I'm not forgetting about. So, what do you base your facts
let me,
on?
come on, let's go.
And secondly,
No, you get one. You get one.
well, the
Ready?
second
Just sit
question
down.
is-
Wait, sit down. Sit down.
Could you please
sit
answer?
down. You get one
Um,
question. But it was a very substantial victory. Do you agree with that?
You're the president.
The USMCA. Do you expect Matt Whitaker to be involved in the Russia probe? Do you want him?
It's up to him.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
One of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign, in the midterms, that
Here we go.
That if you don't
go.
mind,
Let's
Mr.
go.
President,
Come on.
that this caravan was an invasion. As you know,
I
Mr. President,
consider it to be an
As you know,
invasion.
Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling
and
me that. I appreciate it.
your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and
Well,
so
that's
on.
true.
But
They weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. These were people. This was an actual. It happened a few days ago, and
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of
you know
miles
what?
away.
I
That's
think
not an
you
invasion.
should- honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN,
All right.
and if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask,
much
if
better.
I may
Okay,
ask
that's
one other
enough.
question, Mr. President, if I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I
That's
was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks. have
That's
had-
enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me. That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down?
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President,
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts
Well,
his
I'm
butt
not a
like
big
the rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either, so
I understand.
to be honest.
So let
with
me-
you.
fortunately-
Okay, just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
You said Democrats would unleash a wave of violent crime that endangers families everywhere. Why are you
Because they're
pitting
very weak on
Americans?
crime.
Why are
Excuse
you
me.
pitting Americans
Peter.
against one another, sir?
Peter, what are you trying to be him? I watched NBC this morning. They didn't report it exactly correctly, but that's, that's the fact with NBC. Nothing I can do about that.
Just
Give him the
end
mic,
it.
please. I've answered the question. Go ahead, take the. Well, I'll give you I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I'll give you voter suppression. Take a look at the CNN polls, how inaccurate they were. That's called voter suppression. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm not responding. I'm responding to. Excuse me. I'm not responding to you. I'm talking to this gentleman. Would you please sit down? Excuse me. Would you please sit down? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that the House of
Very
Representatives
hostile.
has fled,
It's such a hostile media. It's so sad. You ask me about. No, you rudely interrupted him. Go ahead.
thank you, Mr. President.